Greetings. I'll go over each point quickly, so I'm going to assign each minute. And so, about the event context, I'm going to be using the Talentland for this example. It's basically a tech event that takes place, well, it usually takes place in Guadalajara. They moved it to Mexico City just this year, and it's basically a tech event. It's on regards to AI, databases, cloud services, yada yada yada. And my apologies. And it's relevant for me not just because I'm well, essentially graduating from a software development degree, but I've also been interested in technological stuff and things for a big part of my life. Okay, so you have to define your networking goals before you go, because if you try to define them in a place, it's usually gonna end up as a mess. So, for example, in this year, I did have a plan. I couldn't go, unfortunately. Logistics made it hard for me, but my plan was to first introduce myself around the area. Once I was done with that, well, not introduce myself, I'm sorry. But you have to make a little research before going, because usually on the website, you're going to be able to see, who's going, who's going to be like the major partners of the event, and you can start getting an idea of where you can go, where you can start asking questions, and especially that, networking is not all about, just hey, here's my CV, get me a job. Morris, and getting to extend your presence around the matter of topic, in this case tech. And it's good if you can build contracts, supplier. It all depends on your goals. Mine personally were to get a job because I was gonna graduate roughly in a few months. I mean, I'm gonna graduate in 2 months. It was not long ago. Things have changed, but well, yeah. And basically, you do have to work a lot on your self-introduction, but you don't have to work it as in like a polished way, as in like greetings, my name is, and then you just become super formal, and then people don't really wanna, they don't end up knowing what your intentions are. So what I like to do personally is that I approach a stand, and I don't talk yet. I just start looking, I start seeing if there's any text. I can just look in for a few seconds just to seem interest. And then once you're like done sketching the area, so to speak, you then see if there's anyone available, so that you don't just seem rude and pretend like you're the most important person on the whole event. And you just wait for them and say, hey, I was interested, and you ask for a specific thing, because if you just ask by saying, hey, my name is blah blah blah, then they're going to be like, oh, okay, then they were probably just not doing nothing and then jumping to just full attention to you. That can be disruptive. So just ask, start with something else, like, hey, I was looking at this, I wanted to learn more about it. Then you just establish a conversation, then you can introduce yourself properly and say, hey, I'm working on all of these things, that's why I'm interested. And then, based on your interest, you're going to decide how to approach the situation next. In my case, it would be to hand over presentation cards I worked on, CVs I had printed, but it can be, you can have a lot of goals. And I have personally met a lot of people there. They're mostly on my LinkedIn, but hey, that's sometimes networking for you. Well, that's it. Bye.